The stars trembled when King Zarthol's fleet emerged from the void. 10,000 warships materialized at the edge of Earth's solar system, each one a monument to 3,000 years of conquest. Their dark hulls reflected no light, as if they consumed the very darkness of space itself. On the bridge of his flagship, the Eternal Dominion, King Zarthul sat upon his throne of crystallized starlight. His four eyes scanned the primitive system before him. Mars held tiny colonies. The moon showed signs of habitation. But the blue world, the third planet from the yellow star, that was the prize. That was Earth. Another world of insects, Zarthul said to his commander. His voice carried the weight of countless victories. How many does this make, General Krell? 848, my king, Krell responded, bowing his horned head. This species calls themselves humans. Our scans show no shield technology. Their weapons are primitive kinetic projectiles. They have not even mastered faster-than-light travel. Zarthul laughed, a sound like grinding metal. Then why do we bring 10,000 ships? 500 would crush them. The Council of Conquerors demands we show overwhelming force, my king, to discourage resistance. Resistance. Zarthul tasted the word. These creatures will learn what that word truly costs. On Earth, every screen in every city showed the same image. The alien fleet hung in space like a cloud of death. Governments scrambled. People prayed. Children cried in their parents' arms. Admiral Sarah Chen stood in the command center beneath Geneva, watching the tactical displays with stone-cold focus. She had spent 30 years in the United Earth Defense Force, rising through the ranks during humanity's expansion to Mars. She had fought pirates in the asteroid belt and settled disputes between colonies. But nothing, absolutely nothing, had prepared her for this. How long until they reach Earth orbit? She asked. At their current speed, 72 hours, replied Lieutenant Morrison, his voice shaking slightly. 72 hours. Chen closed her eyes for one moment, allowing herself that brief weakness. Then they snapped open, hard as diamonds. Get me every ship we have, every orbital platform, every missile battery on the moon. I want a complete inventory in 30 minutes. Admiral, our entire fleet is maybe 200 ships. We're looking at 10,000 alien vessels. The math doesn't... I can count, Lieutenant. Chen's voice could have cut steel. Get me the numbers anyway. Across the globe, a message appeared on every device connected to the internet. It was in English, Mandarin, Spanish, Arabic, and 100 other languages simultaneously. The translation was perfect. The meaning was clear. Primitive humans of the planet Earth. I am King Zarthul, Emperor of the Krethaxian Empire, conqueror of 847 worlds. Your planet has been selected for resource extraction. Your species will be evaluated for labor potential. You have 72 hours to surrender unconditionally. Any resistance will result in complete obliteration. This is not a negotiation. This is inevitability. Accept your fate and some of you may survive. The UN Security Council met in emergency session. Panic filled the chamber. Representatives shouted over each other. Some demanded immediate surrender. Others called for nuclear strikes against the approaching fleet. A few simply wept. Secretary General Amara Okonkwo stood and slammed her hand on the table. The sound echoed like a gunshot. The room fell silent. Enough, she said. We will not waste our final hours in chaos. Admiral Chen has operational command of our defense forces. She will coordinate our response. As for our official answer to this king, she paused, letting the weight of the moment settle. I recommend defiance. Defiance? The Russian ambassador looked pale. They have 10,000 ships. We have barely 200. Defiance means extinction. Perhaps, Okonkwo replied. But if humanity is to end, let us end standing. Let the universe remember that we did not kneel. In a laboratory beneath Tokyo, Dr. Marcus Webb stared at the alien transmission data. His team had been analyzing every byte of information from the alien fleet's broadcasts, and he had found something impossible. Their shields, he muttered to his assistant. They're using a quantum resonance field. But look at this frequency signature. It's uniform across their entire fleet. Meaning what, Doctor? Webb looked up, his eyes wild with sudden hope. Meaning they all use the same frequency. If we can disrupt it, we can disrupt all of them. They've built their entire defense system on standardization. It's efficient, but it's a single point of failure. Can we build a disruptor in 72 hours? I don't know, Webb admitted. But we have to try. As the deadline approached, King Zarthul watched humanity's response with amusement. Their orbital platforms powered up. Their ships moved into defensive formations around their planet. Their primitive missiles armed. They mean to fight, General Krell observed. Let them, Zarthul said. Let them die with false hope. It will make the lesson clearer to the survivors. The Krathaxian Empire cannot be opposed. We are inevitability. We are destiny. But then something unexpected happened. A transmission came from Earth. Admiral Chen's face appeared on every screen in the alien fleet. King Zarthul, she said, her voice calm and clear. We have received your demand. Here is our response. We reject your terms. We reject your empire. We reject your inevitability. Earth is our home, and you are not welcome here. You want our planet? Come and take it. The transmission ended. Silence filled the eternal dominion. Then Zarthul began to laugh. It started as a chuckle and grew into roaring mirth. They dare? These insects dare challenge me? Very well. General Krell, advance the fleet. Full assault. Leave nothing but ashes. I want this world to serve as an example for the next 1,000 years. I want species across the galaxy to whisper the name Earth as a warning. The warning of what happens when you defy King Zarthul. The fleet began to move. 10,000 ships of death heading toward the blue planet. And on Earth, humanity prepared for war. The alien vanguard arrived first. 500 ships, each the size of a city, broke away from the main fleet and accelerated toward Earth's orbital defense perimeter. They moved with the confidence of predators who had never known defeat. Admiral Chen watched them come. Around Earth, humanity's defense grid hummed to life. 20 orbital platforms, each bristling with railguns and missile batteries. 183 warships, ranging from massive cruisers to nimble fighters. The moon's surface lit up as hidden launch sites opened their doors. It was everything humanity had built during their expansion into space. It looked pathetically small against the alien force. All stations, this is Admiral Chen. Weapons free. Target the lead ships. Fire everything. Space erupted in light. Railgun slugs traveling at a fraction of light speed streaked toward the alien vessels. Thousands of missiles launched, their engines burning bright against the darkness. Laser batteries from the orbital platforms carved lines of coherent light across the void. The aliens' shields shimmered as the barrage struck. Energy rippled across invisible barriers. Most of the human weapons exploded harmlessly against the alien defenses. But some got through. A railgun slug punched through a weakened section of shield and tore into an alien ship's hull. Atmosphere vented into space. The ship listed, damaged but not destroyed. On the Eternal Dominion, General Krell frowned. They fight harder than expected, my king. They fight like cornered animals, Zarthul replied. Dangerous for a moment, but ultimately futile. Order the vanguard to return fire. Let us show them real power. The alien ships responded. Beams of purple energy lanced out, striking the nearest human vessels. The Earth destroyer Defiant took a direct hit. Its shields, inferior copies of alien technology reverse-engineered from ancient wrecks, lasted 3 seconds. The beam cut through the ship like a knife through paper. 300 crew members died instantly. But the Defiant's captain, Maria Rodriguez, had 1 second before the reactor exploded. 1 second to make a choice. Her hands flew across the controls. The dying ship turned, engines still firing, and accelerated directly at the alien vessel that killed her. The collision was spectacular. The Defiant struck the alien ship's shield at full speed. The shield held for a moment, then collapsed under the kinetic impact. Metal met metal. Both ships exploded in a ball of fire visible from Earth's surface. What? General Krell stared at his display. They intentionally destroyed themselves. More human ships followed the Defiant's example. When weapons ran dry and shields failed, they became missiles. They crashed into alien vessels with terrible purpose. The vanguard's advance slowed as ships had to dodge the suicide attacks. They're insane, an alien officer whispered. King Zarthul gripped his throne. In 3,000 years of conquest, he had never seen defenders willingly destroy themselves. Species begged. They surrendered. They tried to flee. They did not turn their ships into weapons when all else failed. On Earth, Dr. Webb worked without sleep. His laboratory had become a fortress of desperate innovation. Engineers from 12 countries worked side by side, testing his theories. The quantum disruptor was taking shape, but too slowly. They needed more time. Time they did not have. Doctor, we need 48 hours minimum, his lead engineer reported. The power requirements alone. We don't have 48 hours, Webb snapped. We have maybe 12 before they break through the orbital defense. Find a way. Steal power from the Tokyo grid if you have to. I don't care if half the city goes dark. Make it work. In Beijing, Moscow, New York, and Mumbai, similar scenes played out. Humanity's best minds worked on impossible problems. In São Paulo, a material scientist discovered that Earth's magnetic field could be weaponized. In Lagos, a hacker team found a way to jam alien communications. In Sydney, a physicist created a missile that phase-shifted through shields. None of them slept. None of them stopped. Because stopping meant death. Captain James Okafor stood in a commercial shipyard in orbit above Earth. Around him, civilian freighters were being converted into warships. Welders worked in zero gravity, attaching missile pods to cargo haulers. Engineers ripped out storage compartments and replaced them with railguns. "This is madness," said his co-pilot Chen Wei. "These ships aren't built for combat. They'll fall apart." "Then they fall apart," Okafor replied. He was a big man, born in Nigeria, who had spent 20 years hauling cargo between Earth and Mars. His ship, the Mombasa's Pride, was currently having 6 missile launchers welded to its hull. "But they'll fall apart on top of those alien bastards. Every commercial captain I know has volunteered. We've got 300 civilian ships ready to fight." "Ready to die, you mean?" "Same thing, brother. Same thing." The vanguard pushed deeper. Earth's orbital platforms fell one by one. The lunar bases launched their entire arsenal, buying precious minutes. Human ships darted and weaved, using every dirty trick they knew. They hid in debris fields. They used Earth's satellites as cover. They fought with the desperation of a species that had nowhere left to run. And slowly, impossibly, the alien advance slowed. Not stopped, not defeated, but slowed. King Zarthul watched the battle feed with growing fury. His vanguard had lost 23 ships. 23? Against primitives. The number was insignificant compared to his fleet size, but the principle infuriated him. "Bring the main fleet forward," he ordered. "I want 1,000 ships in Earth orbit by the end of the day. Crush them. Obliterate their moon. Burn their orbital infrastructure to atoms." "My king, is that wise? Perhaps we should study their tactics." Zarthul's 4 eyes fixed on General Krell with murderous intensity. "Are you questioning me?" "No, my king." Advancing immediately. As the alien main fleet began its approach, Admiral Chen received the reports. The first wave had been held barely at a terrible cost. Half her fleet was gone. The orbital platforms were damaged or destroyed. The moon bases were out of ammunition, and now 1,000 fresh alien ships were coming. She should have felt despair. But instead she felt pride. Humanity had been given 72 hours to surrender. They had chosen to fight, and in those first brutal hours of combat, they had proven something important. They could bleed the aliens. They could make them pay for every inch of space, and if humanity was going to die, they would die taking as many of these invaders with them as possible. Chen opened a channel to all remaining human forces. Her face appeared on every screen, every helmet display, every communication device still functioning. "This is Admiral Chen. I won't lie to you. We're losing. Our losses are severe. The enemy is stronger than us in every measurable way, but I've seen something today that gives me hope. I've seen humanity fight like never before. I've seen courage that makes me proud to be human. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to keep fighting. We're going to make them regret the day they came to our system. And maybe, just maybe, we'll find a way to win. But even if we don't, the galaxy will remember. Earth did not surrender. Earth did not kneel. Earth fought. Across the planet, across the surviving ships, across the lunar bases and orbital stations, humanity heard her words, and they prepared to fight again. The alien fleet reached Earth orbit like a swarm of locusts blotting out the sun. 1,000 massive warships surrounded the planet, their weapons aimed downward at the surface. Admiral Chen's forces had been pushed back. Only 60 human ships remained in fighting condition. The orbital defense network was gone. Earth stood naked before its enemies. King Zarthul gave the order. Purple beams lanced down from orbit, striking cities across the globe. Shanghai vanished in a column of superheated plasma. Cairo burned. Sydney's harbor boiled away. Moscow's towers collapsed into rubble. In the first hour, 12 million people died. The bombardment was precise and cruel. Zarthul targeted population centers, showing humanity the price of defiance. He left the farmlands untouched. He avoided the factories. He needed those for resource extraction. But the people, the proud humans who had dared to refuse him, they would learn their lesson in fire. In the underground command center, Admiral Chen watched her world burn. Tears streaked her face, but her voice remained steady as she coordinated evacuation efforts and defensive positions. They could not stop the bombardment. They could only try to save who they could. Admiral Dr. Webb is transmitting from Tokyo, Lieutenant Morrison said. He says it's urgent. Chen wiped her eyes. Put him through. Dr. Webb's face appeared on screen. He looked half dead from exhaustion, but his eyes blazed with frantic energy. Admiral, we've done it. The quantum disruptor works. We tested it on a captured alien scout ship wreckage. The shield collapsed completely. For the first time in days, hope sparked in Chen's chest. How many can you build? We have 12 functioning prototypes. We can install them on your ships. But Admiral, they're not weapons. They're support devices. They'll take down the shields, but you'll still need conventional weapons to damage the ships. 12 is enough, Chen said. We'll make it enough. Get them to the Luna shipyard. I'll have ships waiting. There's more, Webb continued. We've learned something about their technology. It's advanced, yes, but it's old. Ancient, even. They haven't innovated in centuries. They just use the same designs over and over because they always work. They're predictable, Admiral. We can exploit that. Chen allowed herself a grim smile. Doctor, you may have just saved humanity. Chen out. She turned to her staff. Get me every ship we have left. Get me the civilian fleet. Get me anything that can fly and carry a weapon. We're going to hit them with everything we have. On the surface, in the ruins of cities, something unexpected was happening. Humanity was not breaking. The survivors were not surrendering. Instead, they were organizing. In the rubble of Shanghai, resistance fighters salvaged alien wreckage and studied it. In the remains of Cairo, guerrilla cells formed, planning attacks on any alien forces that landed. The bombardment had not crushed the human spirit. It had hardened it into something dangerous. A broadcast went out from the ruins, transmitted on every frequency. A young woman, her face covered in dust and blood, stared into a camera. They think they've won, she said in Mandarin, her words immediately translated into dozens of languages. They think killing our cities means we'll surrender. They're wrong. Every human who died today will be avenged. We're still here. We're still fighting, and we will never ever stop. The message spread like wildfire. From the ashes, humanity rose not in surrender but in fury. King Zarthel received reports of the broadcast with confusion. Why do they not beg for mercy? We have demonstrated our power. We have killed millions. They should be broken. Perhaps, my king, we have underestimated their psychological resilience, General Krell suggested carefully. There is no resilience that can withstand orbital bombardment, Zarthel snapped. Continue firing. Target more cities. Break them. But before the order could be executed, alarms blared across the alien fleet. 12 human ships had appeared, moving fast from the dark side of the moon. They were small vessels, each carrying Dr. Webb's quantum disruptors. The aliens opened fire. The small ships jinked and weaved, using every evasive maneuver known to human pilots. 2 were destroyed immediately, but 10 made it through the initial barrage. They closed with the alien fleet and Dr. Webb's devices activated. Invisible waves of disrupting energy pulsed outward. Alien shields flickered, faltered, and collapsed. Now, Admiral Chen's voice rang out across the human fleet. All ships fire everything! The remaining human warships emerged from behind lunar cover. Behind them came Captain Okafor's civilian fleet, 300 converted freighters and cargo haulers armed with whatever weapons could be bolted onto their hulls. They all opened fire at once. Without shields, the alien ships were vulnerable. Railgun slugs tore through hulls. Missiles struck home, detonating inside the vessels. Laser batteries carved through armor plating. 3 alien capital ships exploded within the first 30 seconds. King Zarthol staggered in his throne. What is happening? How did they disable our shields? They've developed a countermeasure, my king. The shields are regenerating, but slowly. They're adapting faster than any species we've encountered. Captain Okafor guided the Mombasa's Pride straight toward an alien cruiser. His ship shuddered as enemy fire hammered its hull, but he did not deviate. The alien shields were still down. At the last moment, he launched every missile he carried, then yanked his ship into a violent turn. The missiles struck the alien ship's bridge. The explosion was massive. The ship began to list, its systems failing. Okafor pumped his fist. That's for Shanghai, you bastards! But victory came at a price. The Mombasa's pride had taken too much damage. Alarm screamed. The reactor was critical. Okafor looked at Chen Wei, his co-pilot. They both knew what was coming. "It's been an honor, brother," Chen Wei said. "The honor was mine," Okafor replied. He turned the dying ship toward another alien vessel. "Let's take one more with us." The Mombasa's pride struck the alien destroyer at full speed. The reactor exploded on impact, vaporizing both ships in a ball of nuclear fire. James Okafor died as he lived, fighting for humanity's survival. Across the fleet, similar acts of heroism played out. Human ships damaged and dying became weapons of last resort. Pilots who had hauled cargo between planets days ago now gave their lives to buy their species one more minute of survival. The quantum disruptors bought humanity 20 minutes of level playing field. But 20 minutes was enough. When the alien shields finally regenerated, the humans had destroyed 14 alien ships and damaged dozens more. More importantly, they had proven something crucial. The aliens could be hurt. They could be killed. The invincible Krithaxian Empire could bleed. King Zarthul's fury knew no bounds. He had lost more ships in this battle than in his last 100 conquests combined. These primitives, these insects, they had humiliated him. They had developed a counter to his shields in days. They fought with insane courage and unexpected innovation. Every assumption about them had been wrong. "Recall the bombardment fleet," he ordered. "Bring every ship to Earth orbit. I want this planet sterilized. I want every human dead. I don't care about resources anymore. This world will serve as my example. The example of what happens to those who defy me." But as his fleet began to regroup, something changed. Reports came in from across the galaxy. The news of Earth's resistance had spread. Other conquered species watching the battle were inspired. On 3 different worlds, slave populations rose in revolt. The Krithaxian Empire, unshakable for 3,000 years, suddenly faced challenges on multiple fronts. And on Earth, Dr. Webb's team was already working on version 2 of the disruptor. Longer range, more power. They had learned from the battle. They were adapting, innovating, doing what humans did best. The war was far from over. But for the first time, humanity had hope. 3 weeks after the first quantum disruptor attack, the war had changed. King Zarthul's fleet now numbered 8,000 ships in Earth's solar system, down from the original 10,000, 2,000 vessels destroyed or damaged beyond repair. The losses were staggering by Krithaxian standards. Unacceptable. Impossible. Yet they were real. Admiral Chen stood in the rebuilt command center, now relocated to an underground facility beneath the Swiss Alps. On the holographic display, the solar system lit up with tactical markers. Human forces had scattered throughout the asteroid belt, the moons of Jupiter, the rings of Saturn. They no longer fought in open battle. They had become ghosts, striking from hiding and vanishing before the aliens could respond. "Report," Chen ordered. Lieutenant Morrison pulled up the latest intelligence. Strike Team Delta hit an alien supply convoy near Ceres. 3 transport ships destroyed, 1 captured intact. Strike Team Echo mined the approach to Io. When the alien patrol came through, we took out 5 ships, and the civilian fleet under Captain Rodriguez's command successfully ambushed an alien scouting group near Europa. "No human losses," Chen nodded. After Captain Okafor's death, Maria Rodriguez had taken command of the civilian volunteers. She fought with a cold fury that made even the military crews nervous. Her tactics were unconventional, brutal, and devastatingly effective. The captured transport ship, what did we get from it? Dr. Webb's team is analyzing it now, Admiral. Initial reports suggest we can reverse engineer their faster-than-light drives. We might be able to modify our ships for FTL travel within a month. A month ago, that would have seemed like science fiction. Now, humanity was learning alien technology at a pace that should have been impossible. They had no choice. Adapt or die. So they adapted. On the Eternal Dominion, King Zarthul watched his empire crumble in real time. His 4 eyes scanned reports from across the galaxy. 17 worlds in open rebellion. His supply lines under constant attack. And here, at Earth, his fleet was being bled dry by a species that should have been conquered in a week. "My king, we should withdraw," General Krell said carefully. "We can return with more ships. Develop countermeasures to their tactics. Withdraw?" Zarthul's voice was ice. "The Krithaxian Empire does not withdraw. We have never retreated in 3,000 years. I will not be the king who runs from primitives. My king, they are not primitives anymore. They learn too fast. They adapt too quickly. Every tactic we use, they counter within days. They have modified their ships with our own technology. They fight without honor, without rules. They are unpredictable. That was the word that haunted Zarthul. Unpredictable. The Krathaxian Empire had conquered countless worlds because they followed a pattern. Study the enemy. Deploy overwhelming force. Accept surrender. It had worked for millennia. But humans broke the pattern. They did not surrender when logically they should. They did not fight fair battles. They used tactics the Krathaxians had never encountered. They turned cargo ships into warships, civilian pilots into soldiers, their own damaged vessels into bombs. And they were winning. In the asteroid belt, Strike Team Delta was preparing their next operation. Commander Lisa Park reviewed the plan with her crew. They had captured an alien transport ship intact, and Dr. Webb's team had done something incredible. They had hacked its systems. The alien fleet uses centralized communication, Park explained. Every ship reports to the flagship. Every order comes from King Zarthul himself. It's efficient, but it's a weakness. If we can jam their communications, we can isolate individual ships and destroy them before help arrives. Her second-in-command frowned. How do we jam an entire fleet's communications? Park smiled. We don't jam all of them. We use this captured ship to broadcast a false signal. We convince part of their fleet that they've received orders to move to a different sector. Then we hit them when they're separated. That's devious. That's human, Park replied. The plan worked better than expected. Using the captured ship's codes, Park transmitted false orders to a group of 50 alien vessels. The orders appeared to come directly from the flagship. The ships, following their rigid command structure, moved to the specified coordinates. They flew straight into an ambush. Human ships emerged from asteroid cover. The new quantum disruptors version 3 disabled the alien shields instantly. Railguns and missiles struck home. The battle was short and brutal. 43 alien ships were destroyed. 7 tried to flee and were hunted down by human fighters. Not a single alien vessel escaped. When King Zarthul learned of the massacre, he finally understood. He was not fighting a primitive species. He was fighting a species that had been forged in the fires of their own brutal history. Humans had fought wars among themselves for thousands of years. They knew deception. They knew guerrilla warfare. They knew how to win against superior forces because they had done it to each other countless times. They tricked us, he said, his voice hollow. They used our own systems against us. Yes, my king, General Krell confirmed. And there's more. The humans have been broadcasting every battle across known space. 47 species have received these transmissions. The Empire's reputation for invincibility is shattered. We are no longer feared. We are seen as vulnerable. Zarthul gripped his throne so hard the crystal cracked. Send infiltration teams to Earth's surface. If we cannot defeat their fleet, we will destroy their command structure. Find their leaders, kill them. Cut off the head of this resistance. 3 teams of Krathaxian special forces landed on Earth under cover of darkness. They were the best warriors the Empire had. Each team was tasked with assassinating key human leaders, Admiral Chen, Dr. Webb, Secretary General Okonkwo. Remove them, and the human resistance would collapse. But they had not counted on humanity's home field advantage. The ruins of Earth's cities had become fortresses. The survivors knew every street, every collapsed building, every hidden tunnel. When the alien infiltrators landed in Geneva, they walked into a trap. The underground resistance had been waiting. Fighters who had lost everything in the bombardment now channeled their grief into fury. They attacked the aliens with improvised weapons, homemade explosives, and sheer desperate courage. The Krathaxian special forces, trained to fight in open combat, found themselves hunted through narrow tunnels and collapsed buildings. 2 teams were eliminated within hours. The 3rd team reached the entrance to the command center, only to be stopped by Chen's personal security force. The firefight was intense. 3 human soldiers died, but so did every alien infiltrator. Admiral Chen inspected the bodies afterward. They thought they could decapitate us, she said. They still don't understand. We're not an empire with a single leader. We're 7 billion individuals who have decided to fight. You can't kill us all. As the weeks passed, the balance continued to shift. Human ships, now equipped with captured alien technology and their own innovations, became more effective. Strike teams destroyed alien supply depots. Communication networks were hacked and exploited, and most devastatingly, Dr. Webb's team completed their masterwork, a weapon that could generate a massive electromagnetic pulse, powered by a small artificial sun. One blast could disable every alien ship within 1,000 kilometers. The weapon was too large to mount on a ship, but it could be deployed from Earth's surface or from a fixed position in space. This changes everything, Dr. Webb said, showing Admiral Chen the designs. We call it the solar hammer. If we can lure the alien fleet into range, we can cripple them all at once. Chen studied the plans. It was risky, impossibly risky. But then again, humanity had been doing impossible things for weeks now. Do it, she ordered. Build the solar hammer, and start planning the biggest ambush in human history. King Zarthul's commanders began to openly question his decisions. Ships were fleeing without orders. Captains were refusing suicidal missions. The iron discipline that had held the Empire together for 3,000 years was cracking. We should negotiate, one admiral suggested during a council meeting. Offer them terms. A ceasefire. Never, Zarthul roared. I will see this world burn to ash before I negotiate with insects. But even as he spoke, he knew the truth. The insects had become monsters, and the monsters were hunting him. King Zarthul stood alone in his throne room, staring at the tactical display. 6,000 ships remained of his once mighty fleet. 6,000 when he had started with 10,000. In 50 days of battle, humanity had destroyed 4,000 Krathaxian warships. The numbers were impossible, unthinkable, yet real. Reports flooded in from across the galaxy. The Empire was collapsing, 32 worlds in open rebellion, supply lines severed. His subject species, emboldened by Earth's resistance, were casting off their chains. 3,000 years of conquest unraveling because of one stubborn world. My king, General Krell entered, his bearing weary. The Council is demanding we withdraw from Earth. The cost is too high. The Council can burn with the humans, Zarthul said. I will not leave this system until Earth is ash. I will not be remembered as the king who fled from primitives. Then, my king, you will be remembered as the king who destroyed the Empire with his pride. Zarthul's 4 eyes blazed. Get out! Krell left, and Zarthul made his decision. He would gather every remaining ship. He would take personal command, and he would crush Earth's orbital defenses in one final, overwhelming assault. No more games, no more tactics, pure brutal force. On Earth, Admiral Chen received the intelligence reports. The alien fleet was massing. All 6,000 ships were moving into formation around the planet. This was it. The final battle. Is the solar hammer ready? She asked Dr. Webb. Ready, Webb confirmed. We've installed it on Platform 0, hidden in Earth's shadow. The aliens don't know it exists. When they enter range, we can fire. How many ships will it disable? All of them if they're close enough. But Admiral, there's a catch. The solar hammer needs 20 minutes to charge. Once we activate it, the energy signature will be visible to every sensor in the system. They'll know what we're doing. They'll have 20 minutes to either retreat or destroy the platform. Chen nodded slowly. Then we need to make sure they can't do either. We need to bait them in close and keep them there. She turned to her command staff. Get me every ship we have. Get me Maria Rodriguez and the civilian fleet. Get me every pilot who can still fight. We're going to give King Zarthul exactly what he wants. A final battle. All or nothing. The message went out across the solar system. Every human ship, every fighter, every converted freighter began moving toward Earth. They numbered 300 vessels now. 300 against 6,000. The odds were 20-1, but humanity had beaten worse odds already. Captain Maria Rodriguez received the orders on her ship, the Shanghai's Vengeance. Her crew was a mix of civilians and military personnel, bound together by loss and fury. She had lost her entire family in the bombardment. Now she fought not for victory, but for revenge. All ships, this is Rodriguez, she transmitted to the civilian fleet. We've been given the honor of the first strike. We're going to fly straight at them, guns blazing, and make them chase us. We're the bait. Some of us won't make it back. But our sacrifice will buy Earth the time it needs. It's been an honor serving with you all. 200 civilian ships acknowledged. Not a single one requested to withdraw. King Zarthul watched as the human fleet emerged from Earth's shadow. So few ships. So pitifully few. He almost felt disappointed. This would not be a battle. It would be an execution. All ships advance, he commanded. Destroy them all. The alien fleet moved forward as one massive wall of death. The human ships accelerated to meet them. At the last moment, they scattered, darting between the alien vessels, firing as they went. It was chaos. Beautiful, calculated chaos. The aliens gave chase exactly as Chen had planned. They pursued the human ships deeper into Earth's orbit, drawn by the promise of easy kills. The civilian ships fought like demons, inflicting damage far beyond what their size suggested, then fleeing before the aliens could bring their full firepower to bear. And slowly, kilometer by kilometer, the alien fleet moved into position. Solar hammer is charging, Dr. Webb reported from Platform 0. 19 minutes to full power. Admiral Chen watched the tactical display. All ships, keep them engaged. Don't let them break off, the human pilots understood. They flew suicidal attack runs, drawing the aliens' attention. Ships exploded. Good people died. But the alien fleet stayed focused on the immediate threat, not noticing the energy building in Earth's shadow. King Zarthul suddenly felt uneasy. The humans were fighting hard, but something was wrong. They were too coordinated, too focused. This felt less like a last stand and more like a trap, he breathed. It's a trap. All ships, full retreat. But he was too late. Dr. Webb pressed the activation button. Solar hammer firing now. A miniature sun bloomed in space. Electromagnetic energy burst outward in a sphere of invisible destruction. It washed over the alien fleet like a wave. Every shield generator overloaded. Every electronic system fried. Every weapon powered down. 6,000 alien warships became dead metal, floating helplessly in space. Now, Admiral Chen roared. All ships, fire everything. The human fleet descended on the disabled aliens like wolves on wounded prey. Without shields or weapons, the alien ships were defenseless. Railguns tore through hulls. Missiles found their marks. The battle became a slaughter, but this time humanity held the knife. On the Eternal Dominion, emergency power flickered. The main systems were dead. King Zarthul watched his fleet die around him and finally understood. He had not been fighting primitives. He had been fighting a species that refused to accept defeat. A species that turned disadvantages into advantages. A species that had looked at the impossible and said, "Watch us." Admiral Chen's voice crackled over the emergency channel. King Zarthul, this is Admiral Sarah Chen of Earth. Your fleet is disabled. Your ships are being destroyed. I'm offering you one chance. Surrender now, and your surviving crews will be treated as prisoners of war. Refuse, and we will show you the same mercy you showed Shanghai. Zarthul laughed bitterly. You want me to surrender? To insects? No, Chen replied. I want you to surrender to humans. There's a difference. For a long moment, silence filled the channel. Then Zarthul spoke. I have conquered 847 worlds. I have ruled for 300 years. I will not surrender to anyone. Then you'll die, Chen said simply. Boarding teams, move in. Human Marines equipped with captured alien technology and their own combat suits began boarding the Eternal Dominion. The aliens fought back, but without their systems. They were no match for humanity's close combat expertise. Humans had spent thousands of years perfecting the art of violence. Now they turned that expertise on their would-be conquerors. The Marines fought through the ship, deck by deck, corridor by corridor. They showed no mercy because none had been shown to Earth. For every human city destroyed, they exacted payment in blood. Admiral Chen led the final assault team personally. She breached the throne room with 50 Marines behind her. King Zarthul stood waiting, his honor guard dead around him. He held an ancient energy blade ready to die as a warrior. Chen walked forward, her sidearm aimed at his chest. You picked the wrong species to underestimate, she said. We don't know how to quit. We don't know how to surrender. You could have left us alone. You could have picked any of a million other worlds, but you chose Earth, and that choice destroyed you. Zarthul lunged impossibly fast, but Chen was faster. She fired 3 times. The alien king fell, his blade clattering on the deck. He looked up at her, confusion in his dying eyes. How? He whispered. How did insects defeat an empire? Chen holstered her weapon. We're not insects. We're humans, and you never should have given us a reason to fight. King Zarthul died with that truth echoing in his mind. The battle ended within the hour. Of the 6,000 alien ships, fewer than 100 escaped. The survivors fled the solar system, broadcasting warnings to stay away from Earth. The Krithaxian Empire, unstoppable for 3 millennia, had been broken by one determined world. 3 months later, Earth began to rebuild. The cities rose from ruins. The orbital infrastructure was reconstructed, stronger than before. And humanity's ships, now equipped with reverse-engineered alien technology, began exploring beyond their solar system. Admiral Chen stood in the rebuilt UN headquarters looking up at the stars. Secretary General Okonkwo joined her. "We've received first contact requests from 17 species," Okonkwo said. "They want to meet the species that defeated the Crethaxian Empire. Some want alliances, some want trade. A few want to test us." "Let them come," Chen said. "We'll treat them fairly. But if they threaten us, if they think Earth is easy prey, they'll learn the same lesson Zarthel learned." Okonkwo smiled. "And what lesson is that?" "Humans don't lose. We might take casualties. We might suffer. We might have to fight dirty and break every rule. But in the end, we find a way to win. Because we never ever give up." Across the galaxy, the legend spread. The story of a primitive world that had faced extinction and fought back. The story of King Zarthel's fleet, destined for Earth's obliteration, and the day humans ended it. Earth's name became known throughout the stars. Not as a conquered world, not as a victim, but as the world that proved even the mightiest empire could fall to those who refused to kneel. And in the ruins of the Crethaxian home world, where former slave species now ruled themselves, a monument was erected. It bore a simple inscription in 100 languages. They were told to surrender. They chose to fight. They were outmatched. They won anyway. This is humanity. Let the galaxy remember.